Well, boys, I guess I better get this day started, huh? So guys, we got a lot to do today, but before we get started, I just want to mention really quick, very serious request. Please guys, let me know what you think of the quality of the GoPro layout and everything with the wide angle and everything like that for filming videos normally. Let me know what you guys think of that down below in the comments. I really want to probably change up my filming setup here in the near future, but I want to know if you guys mind the way this looks. But anyways, we've got the Dutch Bros, we've got the Manifold powder coated, we've got the toolbox home. So let's go ahead and get into it. Well, it's a little bit overcast outside, a little bit chilly, you know, not the best weather outside, but we're in the garage here. I'm just going to show you guys this again. Nice, pretty powder coated Manifold. Just need to slap the throttle body back on it. I mocked up the fuel lines and everything and realized that I didn't put the injectors in. So I'm going to have to pull these off really quick, put the injectors in it, and then this will be ready to throw in the car. The pitch stop mount, I have to figure out why it's not sitting correctly. Not too excited about that because I'm thinking maybe my motor mounts might be messed up or something. Not messed up, but they're aftermarket now, and they might be sitting funky. So I have to figure out why the pitch stop mount's not sitting right, or else we can't really drive it a whole lot, I guess. But for now, let's work on the Manifold. I'm gonna get these rails back off, get the injectors set in it, and then I'm gonna get the throttle body on, and we'll come back to you guys when it's ready to go into the car. You guys will see it installed hopefully today, and we will see how pretty she looks. One more thing I want to show you guys. Ignore the pressure washer, but I've got all my front mount intercooler piping powder coated as well. So all that beautiful stuff should be going on today, or if not today, hopefully in the near future, but you guys will definitely see that. So stick around, and let's go ahead and start on the Manifold. Well, it's pretty much all back together, ready to go into the car. I just wanted to show you guys really quick. I don't know if I ever mentioned this or showed anybody when I initially got it on ages ago, but this throttle body is actually bored out a little bit. I will try and find a regular one to show you guys the difference, but as you can see here, the edge is like super thin. Somebody like honed out the bore of the throttle body, so I don't know if it actually makes a difference, but it's pretty cool. And here we are a couple hours later. I had to do a quick brake job and oil change on my mom's car. She stopped by, and then I had to get a couple documents for her. Anyways, long story short, here we are a couple hours later. I'm gonna hand the camera off to my beautiful girlfriend and camera woman here, babe. What I was thinking is, I'm not sure if I want to put the wiring harness on before I put the Manifold on or after. I'm kind of gonna have to see you know, how everything fits and where everything gets routed once I get this mocked up. I might have to move a couple things out of the way, take this back off, and put the engine wiring harness on before, but we're just gonna get this mocked up, see how it looks, see how it fits, then we'll worry about the engine wiring harness here in a minute. So let's go ahead and put this on. Is it filming? Mm-hmm. Gonna try and be as careful with this Manifold as I can, not to ding it or anything like that. But there's obviously a rat's nest of wires and stuff in the engine bays of these Subarus, so I'll do what I can.
That's such a pretty color.
These fuel lines might need to be rerouted on top of the manifold. You guys see I have them going underneath here and then routed along under here over to this side. So I might have to take this off and route it over the top of the manifold because it seems like it's contacting this turbo inlet pretty good. So...
Is that a bad thing?
Yes.
Like, will it burn?
Well,
or something?
It's not that it'll burn, it just won't fit. But like I said, this is just a mock-up, so I can figure things out like this. I think that's going to cause most of our issues right there. So I am going to have to take this off and reroute it over the top of it, which hopefully it won't cause an issue, but I would have just liked it to go underneath to be a little bit cleaner. But we'll get that rerouted and we'll try again.
Boys, here we go.
I'm going to keep that in. Okay, guys, here we are. Again, another night working on the car. I think after I button this little bit up, I'm probably going to call it an episode for this one. I don't want it to take too long before I upload it because it's already been over a month since I've uploaded something. So tonight, we're working on the car. We got some motivation juice, some cotton candy, and the princess over there. The manifold is 95% installed. All I need to do basically is button up a couple little plugs and stuff over here, plug in all these little harnesses and everything. I'll reconnect the turbo boost lines for the 3-port boost controller. I'll probably put the power steering pump on, make sure it fits with the parent inlet, with the way it sits and everything. And then I think, like I said, I'll probably call it there for this video, but we'll see how far I get tonight. Tonight's going to be the last video of working on, or the last, I guess, night of me working on this project in this episode, whatever. Rambling on, so I'm just going to go ahead and get to it. So, I don't know. We'll see how far we get. Alright, well, since I don't want to leave you guys on a cliffhanger, that's not going to be the end of this episode. I will come back to this and finish it later and just update you guys and everything and finish out the whole episode and completely conclude the installation of this long runner manifold. So just to update you guys for right now, I'll show you guys how far I got. I got the power steering pump installed. Need to install the line for it. Pretty easy. An issue that I ran into over here that you guys might want to know about is the cam position sensor down there in the back. Going to be kind of hard to see, but it actually hits up against part of the long runner manifold. So you guys are either going to have to shave down a little bit of the side of the manifold or just fiddle with it until you can squeeze that cam position sensor plug into place. Another issue I ran into is obviously this line right here for the coolant reservoir. The coolant reservoir is not going to be able to sit right here like it normally does on the regular manifold. So I think what I'm going to do is probably make a bracket for it to sit over here. And then I'll just run a line from this pipe and from the turbo coolant over to the coolant reservoir over here once I get it mounted. Should be pretty simple. I got the downpipe on, O2 sensor is plugged in. Another issue I ran into is with my intercooler piping setup. In order to fit this hose or this 90-degree elbow, or really any elbow for really any application, you're gonna have to rotate your throttle body. The way it's like right now, I'm hoping I'm not gonna run into any issues, but that's why I wanna conclude this video completely for you guys and not just leave it kind of halfway installed the way it is now. I'm gonna be either plugging or routing the coolant lines to the throttle body. I'm not sure what I want to do yet, but I'd like to just plug them because it doesn't really get cold enough here to need those coolant lines on the throttle body. Other than that, all the plugs and stuff are pretty much plugged in. I just need to mount this ground right there to that little screw hole. Should be pretty simple. I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. Brake booster line is installed. All I have to do is hook up the feed and return line for the fuel to the block right there, to the parent block. Obviously feed goes here, return is from the fuel pressure regulator. I'll need to run a vacuum source to the fuel pressure regulator, but that should be pretty easy. I have a vacuum source here from the manifold, so hopefully that'll be a good enough spot. And then I can run my boost pressure sensor from somewhere over there as well. I'll have to plug back in my bypass valve into this hose right here, which might kind of pose a little bit of an issue. But those are the few things that I need to button up before I can kind of move on to the rest of the stuff. None of it's super huge or complicated. I just need to get parts together for it. So I'm going to try and come back and work on this again tomorrow. Anyways, that's going to do it for tonight. I'll come back and update you guys tomorrow or whenever I get the rest of the parts that I need for this thing. Just a couple hoses and nipples and stuff like that for plugging stuff off. Hopefully you guys like the color. It's looking pretty beautiful to me. I think it's going to look even better once we get the intercooler piping on as well. Hopefully we don't run into any fitment issues over here, but we'll come to that when we get there. So stick around. Sorry this video has taken so long to come out, and sorry I keep rambling and just dragging this video on, but I want to get it finished and show you guys all the issues that I've run into trying to run this manifold. If I were to do it again, honestly, I'd just powder coat the original WRX manifold because I don't think I'm going to see a ton of gains from this manifold, but we'll find out. Alright guys, so this is pretty much the last part of this video. I got really far on the manifold and everything. There's still a couple little things that I need to button up that I'll show you guys here in a second, but I'm pretty much done with the manifold and everything, so I can move on to installing other pieces. Got the downpipe on and everything. Let me show you guys where I'm at. So, alternator's in, power steering pump's in, line for the power steering pump is in but not tight. Belts are on. All the stuff for the belts and everything are tight. Like I said earlier, throttle body is rotated. As you guys can see there, throttle body's rotated. I just extended the coolant line from down there over to the bottom of the throttle body here. Ran a little bit longer line under the turbo for the throttle body nipple back there. Probably hard for you guys to see, but just ran a little bit longer line. You can see the line there. As far as the PCV or crankcase breather, I just ran a line from that to the manifold here. It was a really easy access point for manifold, you know, vacuum reference or whatever. I've got all my boost lines run for my 3-port boost controller. Pretty much all I need to do for the PCV system is run some lines under the back, along the back, to the 2 breathers in the front. This one and the same one on the other side. I was going to run the normal hardline, the hardline crossover that goes on your stock, like, top mount intercooler, but I think that would look really tacky, just kind of hanging out up here. So I am going to run just soft lines, probably along the back of the firewall there, along over here to the other side. That should be pretty simple. I've got the bypass valve connected to the recirc hose. Eventually I will upgrade this to a blow-off valve, and I will just plug the recirc hose down there. But for now we're balling on a budget, so I've got the bypass valve connected, and for the vacuum lines and everything, I'm thinking I just ordered a manifold, like a vacuum block manifold. It's basically just a distribution block for your vacuum sources. I ordered one of those, so I'm going to mount it along the back of the firewall somewhere. We'll figure that out when it comes in, but I'm going to run the reference from this little nipple right here on the back of the manifold. So that should be pretty simple. I did end up routing these fuel lines. It's going to be hard for you guys to see, but I routed these fuel lines through the manifold runners over here. They were just coming straight up right here, and everything was kind of like bent over and everything, but it looked really crappy and routing wasn't great. So I took the extra time and I routed the lines under and through the manifold runners there. It just makes everything look a little bit cleaner. Atreus, quit whining, Bubba. You're ruining the video. There's Atreus boy. But anyways, that's pretty much everything buttoned up, guys. One more thing I did want to show you. I left the reservoir pretty much in stock location. It's not bolted into anything. It's kind of just hanging out, wiggling here. I don't love the way that is right now, but I might try and find like make a bracket for it to sit right there until I can get another auxiliary reservoir to sit maybe over here somewhere. But there was just no good place to mount this over here on the firewall without getting in the way or anything like that. So left it where it is temporarily, kind of just wiggling, hanging out. Other than that, everything's pretty much buttoned up. I would recommend probably not running this manifold for a couple reasons. Okay, like I was saying, wouldn't recommend running this manifold unless, one, you're shooting for really high horsepower, because it's kind of like a front mount intercooler in the sense that you lose a lot of low end torque and really only gain higher end torque if you're running really high boost, which I don't think I'm going to be with this setup. So I'm probably not really going to see any gains, unfortunately, with this manifold. Another couple reasons is that, one, you're going to have to reroute pretty much all of your vacuum lines. You're going to have to reroute your wiring harness. You're going to have to reroute all of your PCV lines. Pretty much every main component you're going to have to completely redo and customize to run this manifold. And it's expensive. So realistically, unless you're shooting for really big power, I wouldn't recommend running this manifold. I would probably just stick with, you know, stock OEM manifold, because until you get really high numbers, the stock manifold really isn't a restriction. But, you know, I had to be unique and everything, so I decided to run this. If you guys have any questions on specifics on this setup, or if you guys have questions about your setup and how to make your setup run with this manifold, I mean, going through putting this manifold on and everything, I've got a pretty good idea of what all needs to be done for specific applications to make this manifold work. But that's pretty much it. I just wanted to kind of give you guys a forewarning that this manifold is not for everybody, and you're probably not going to see a lot of gains. So I don't know why I did it, or why I didn't do more research on it before I did it, but I think it's going to look cool, and who knows? We'll see how it runs and everything once I get the car running and tuned. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Like I said, if you have any questions about the setup, please let me know down below. I will be coming back to you guys with the next video here soon on buttoning everything up and hopefully doing a first start or restarting this car. So say your prayers for me, cross your fingers and everything. We'll come back to you in another video and show you, you know, the progress and everything, and hopefully starting the car again for the first time. We'll go for some rips. Can't really do a lot of boosting and everything because we'll have to retune, do break-in, all that good stuff. But I appreciate you guys watching. If this video helped you guys at all, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It would really help me out. Now that I'm between jobs, I'm really gonna push a lot of content. So definitely subscribe to the channel so you guys will see everything that I'm working on. The Legacy GT is coming along pretty nicely, so I'll give you guys an update video on that car as well. But for now, like I said, I appreciate you guys watching. If it helped, like the video. If you have any questions, comment down below, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.